Hello everyone, it's Martin. Welcome to this new video, and today I wanted to do something slightly different than usual. I wanted to imagine what I would do if I had to make you a present for Christmas. So if I had to do that, I would offer you a book because I believe that books have the potential to teach you something that can change your business or even change your entire life. We can learn so many things from books and that can be very, very valuable. Personally, I've read hundreds of books about business, entrepreneurship, money, marketing, and so on. And so if I had to make you a present, here are the books that I would offer to you. So if someone asks you what do you want for Christmas, then feel free to share them this video. And if you look for an idea for a present to someone you care, then again, you can pitch something from this list. So the first book that I can recommend is The Lean Startup by Eric Rice. So I really like the idea and the philosophy about how to build a company from this book. Basically, there's two main takeaways. The first one is this idea of building and learning at the same time. Basically, you don't want to build something just based on your own idea and your own assumption of what works. You really want to build something with your customers, with your partners, and listen to everybody's ideas, listen to everybody's feedback to iterate while you build your product to make sure that everything that you do really fit how people use your product and really fit with what people want to do. And so this way you really avoid, spending weeks or months into building something that no one wants, which is very, very bad and kind of the worst thing that can happen to an entrepreneur. You really want to make sure that everything you do is worth it and people actually need it. And the best way of doing that is by talking to your customer, talking to your user, and really caring about their feedback and including them and building your product with them. Then the second main takeaway to me from this book is this idea of building an MVP first. MVP stands for minimum viable product, which means you don't need to wait until your product or your idea is fully ready, is fully perfect. Once again, to avoid the risk of just building something that nobody will want, it's really often much better to think about a minimal version of your product, a V1 of the big idea that you have, and just start with that. Just launch your company as soon as you can with this minimal viable product, this MVP that is good enough so people can use it, people can pay for it. And so then you can start gathering information, gathering feedback, and based on that, you can keep going. And once again, this can save you a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money as well in preventing you from going into the wrong direction. Because if what you have in mind is actually not what people want to use, then it's better to know that as early as possible. And it's better to get feedback from users as early as possible as well to make sure that we build something that they want to use. So that's why building an MVP first allow us to start gathering feedback and start talking to user much early on in the process. So that's a good thing. Then the second book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki. So this one I really hesitated to put on the list because I feel like so many people talked about this book already, but I still think it's good if you are building your entrepreneurship journey and if you are reading your first book about business and entrepreneurship, then this book can be good for you. The main takeaways from me is, first of all, when you're young, you should first focus on working for learning instead of only working for making money. Because when we are young, by definition, we have little experience and little skills as well. And so a lot of people are just better than us. That's a fact. And so we have to bridge the gap between where we are and the best people in the world as fast as we can. And the best way for doing that is to do work, is to do new things, is to work with partners and so on, and learn as much as we can in the process. And so that's why even if sometimes you feel like you are not paid enough or a job is not well paid or things like this, but that's an opportunity for you to learn and try something new, then you should definitely do it, especially if you are at the beginning of your journey. Then the second takeaway is to spend your money and use your money wisely and avoid wasting money basically into buying useless things like partying too much or a car too big and you don't need that or things like this. Instead of this, you should use your money to actually help you grow your business or help you grow your wealth. So which means either you can invest in your marketing effort or into developing a new product or things like this that will help your business, or you should should invest some money, create some additional income for you. So this way you can be more resilient against the up and down of your business, because most of the time it's not a straight line. Revenue can go up and can go down and up again and down again and so on. And so if you spend too much money on things that you actually don't need and you don't invest enough money, you can find yourself into bad situations. So to avoid that, make sure that you manage your cash properly, you don't buy useless things, and you invest as much as you can. And then the third main takeaway from this book is the idea of surrounding yourself with the right people. I think actually I will do a dedicated video on that, because that's something that have a big impact on my everyday entrepreneurial adventure, I would say, by really choosing who I spend time with and who has an influence on me, on my mindset, on my thoughts, and all of these things. And this is really, really, really important. If there is one thing that has, big potential to change your life, change your business, is really to change the people that you hang out with. This is something very important that you should definitely be aware of. Third book on this list, 0 to 1 from Peter Thiel. So I like this book because it really talks about the idea of going from zero, something that doesn't exist at all, except in our mind as entrepreneurs, to one, something that exists. So how do we create something out of nothing from scratch? And you really encourage us entrepreneurs in this book to really think big, to have big ambition. So he really talks about this idea of not trying to do some incremental improvement to something. So don't try to make like a better Airbnb or better Uber or a better version of something that already exists. Instead of that, be way more ambitious and create something that has the potential to revolutionize either an entire industry or even the society completely. And so I think when we are at the beginning of our journey, it's really good to ask ourselves, like, what do I really want to build? What am I actually building? Am I ambitious enough? Is it really what I want to do? And I think this book is actually really good to start the discussion with ourselves about these things. Then this book, How to Build a $1 Billion App, is actually a book that I really enjoyed because, first of all, the author, George Berkowitz, really built an app that was sold for more than $1 billion, so he really did it. And then in the book, he really walked us through the step of how to do it and how to reach this stage. So basically, he says in the book that when you are at this stage of development, do this. When you reach this stage, do that. When you reach this stage, do that, and so on and so on. So that was good for me because it gave me a frame of reference of what should happen when we are an entrepreneur, and especially when we just start. We have so many questions and there is so many possible things that we can do that just having like some reference of what should happen at which stage of our development really help us to choose what we should focus on at the moment, at the current stage of our development. So even if you don't want to build an app, even if you do a very different startup or very different business, I think it's still very interesting to know how somebody who had a lot of success achieved this success and what they did at each step of the way. Then as an entrepreneur, especially if you bootstrap your company, which means you did not raise funds and you need to be profitable, you need to find customers, you don't have like a lot of money that you can burn until your company works, then if you are into this situation that we call bootstrapping, one thing very important that you will need is to understand marketing and sales, because you will really need to find customers to be able to grow your company and to pay your bills as well every month. So then on my Christmas list, I would offer you some books about marketing. So first one about marketing would be Epic Content Marketing from Joe Pulizzi. So I like this book because once again, it gives you a framework of how you can build a company, how you can grow your company using content, how you can create content, and you really focus on creating high quality content, like real useful piece of information that will actually really help people, and how this can help you grow your company. So that resonates with me personally, like that's the type of marketing that I enjoy the most. That's also why I do these YouTube videos. And I much prefer that rather than advertising or SEO or all the other marketing strategies. I feel better when I create content. So I found something that I like. And one of the reasons why I could get into content marketing was thanks to this book that helped me get the framework and understand better what is content marketing actually. It also gives us some practical tips on like how we can create content strategy, how we can grow our audience, how we can promote our content, and so on and so on. And so it's a pretty good book. Then this next book, The YouTube Formula from Daryl Eves, is really in the continuity, I would say, of the first one. It's also about content marketing and more precisely about YouTube. What I like the most about this book is that it really helps us to understand what is the YouTube ecosystem, how does it work, who are the different stakeholders, and what is our role as a content creator into this ecosystem. So it really helps you to understand the big picture. It starts there actually, that's the first part of the book, the YouTube ecosystem, and then you can understand way better actually how to create good content, how to create compelling content, and how you can grow on the platform. And then 2 other takeaways from me from this book. The first one would be he really insists on doing a lot of research about your niche, the type of content that you want to do. And now after you read the book, you think that it's completely normal and that's something that you definitely should do. But I felt that at first it was a bit counterintuitive. So I'm happy that I could read this book, learn that from there. And because when you do all of this research and all of this analysis on the creators in your niche and the people that you are kinda competing with, then you can understand much better what works, what you should do, and all of these things. And it really gives you a lot of answers about your own content. So that's really cool. And then another takeaway is that content is king. That's definitely the most important, but data is queen. And you really insist a lot on getting very, very good at analyzing the data. And YouTube gives us a lot of data, and that's something that we should really, really study, really understand. And so then we can create better content and grow on the platform. So if you want to do content marketing and you want to do it on YouTube, then these 2 books are actually very useful. So now it's not only 1 book, it's actually 3 books. So it's the Secrets book from Russell Brunson. So Expert Secrets, Dotcom Secrets, and Traffic Secrets. So personally, I'm not like a big fan of this book just because I don't really like the way he's doing marketing. It doesn't really fit me. I've actually tried many times to do it and I really struggle to apply it just because I don't feel very motivated when it comes to it. But I can't deny that what he does works and actually works very, very, very well. I have a lot of friends who really like master what Russell Brunson's teach into these books, and they are really, really successful. So it's different than content marketing. It's more based on sales funnel and ads and creating lead magnet and email marketing and all of these things, but it works very well and it can work for you. So as you will need to learn more about marketing, this is definitely some books that you will want to read. Plus, in these books, I think he did a very good job at talking about many marketing concepts into a very, very simple and actionable way. So into just 3 books, you can learn about advertising, about copywriting, about marketing strategy, and so on and so on. There is so many things that it covers. And so you can have a very good understanding about a lot of parts of marketing. It's not in-depth information, I would say, but it's not an overview neither. It's just what you need to get started. And then if you want to go more into a topic, then you can get some specialized books. But these 3 books are really the high level, and I really like that it touch about so many different concepts and really help us on so many different things. Then following Russell Brunson's books, I would also recommend this one, Launch by Jeff Walker, because he explains his strategy to launch new products, new offers. And once again, even if I'm not a big fan and I did not master this strategy, I can't deny that it definitely works. It's a very, very good strategy, and the book explains absolutely everything. So after you read the book, you can apply it in your business, and it has tremendous potential. But still, my main takeaway that still keeps me thinking actually to this day is that before you actually launch your company, before you actually launch your product, there's so many things that you can do before to have a very successful and a very big launch as well. So at the moment of your start, you don't start from zero, from nothing. You can start actually pretty high already with users, with paying customers and all of these things. And actually this book talked about this, like what you can do before and show you what are the steps to a successful product or service launch. Then little bonus at the end of this video, it's actually a series of books. It's the HBR books, which stand for Harvard Business Review. So basically Harvard, the school, also have a publishing business where they publish articles and research from experts in their field. And then they gather these articles by topics and they make books. So there is a lot of books and there's a lot of things that you can learn on very, very different topics, but it's very often like high level topic and very high level content as well. because it's really expert and successful people who wrote this piece of content. So I really have a lot of these HBR books, actually like really a lot, maybe too much actually. And the three that had the biggest impact on me, first it's Managing Yourself, which talk about how you can manage yourself as an entrepreneur to be more efficient and to be better at what you do. Then I really enjoyed as well the one about platforms and ecosystem, because it really helps you to think bigger about what you do. Like, is there a platform opportunity? Is there an ecosystem opportunity into the vision that you are trying to achieve and the product that you are trying to build? Is there something bigger that you just didn't think about? And so this book helps you to ask yourself this question. And the last one is actually, there is multiples about this topic, but it's the books about strategies, because it really helps you to think at a higher level and make sure that you think strategically and that everything you do has a reason. You have a long-term goal and you have some steps and a clear strategy to achieve your goals. So that's it for my Christmas list for 2023. I hope that you will get value from this book. Personally, I got a lot of value from this book, so that's why I recommend them to you. So subscribe to the channel to see my next videos about entrepreneurship and business, and I wish you a very happy Christmas. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.